What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another anime review, and today we're taking a look at Children of the Whale, which is a one-season anime which you can watch on Netflix. It does have 12 episodes, and I do believe it came out either 2017 or 2019, roughly the late 2010s, and I recently watched it all in one go because the episodes are roughly 20 to 25 minutes each. So again, you can watch it all in one day like I did, or you can watch it over a week depending on how you like to watch your animes. But I am a very avid binge watcher. If I can watch it all in one day, I'm going to watch it all in one day. So with Children of the Whale, it is quite an old anime in terms of like how fast things get thrown out the window, but it is one which I have had in my watch list for a very long time that I have only just gotten around to watching. So without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say about this anime. So Children of the Whale has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. You can watch this exclusively on Netflix, and in the 93rd year of the sentience of sand, the world is covered by oceans of sand, and 513 people live in isolation on the Mud Whale, an island-like ship that is adrift on the sand. As he investigates an abandoned ship that has drifted up to the Mud Whale, Kako, the island's archivist, who is endeavored with special powers, meets a mysterious girl named Rikosu. It makes the first time that an island inhabitant has made first contact with someone from the outside world. Koraku wonders if it's a sign that a new world awaits. So, basically, how the story goes is we're introduced to the power system of the anime, where certain people have a mark, and with that mark they have special abilities which make them die younger. They only live to like 20, so they're used as like warriors, they're used as like builders and stuff like that. However, this main character has never been very good with their mark, so they've been put to the archivist. They see a new island, they go to the island, they meet a girl, they bring her back, and she also has a mark, and she was sent to kill the people of the Mud Whale because they were criminals hundreds of years ago, and that's why they were sentenced to banishment on the Mud Whale. And then another army shows up because they were following her and seeing why they hadn't killed the Mud Whale yet or haven't like reported back. So we have a whole army show up of like jesters and clowns, which is ran by her older brother who wants to be general, and then they have a fight. They then end up winning, and the Mud Whale is then left alone for a couple of months whilst the enemy regroups. And whilst the enemy is regrouping, the people of the Mud Whale start training, start learning, start expanding, start like basically explaining. The elders are then talking to the people, being like, hey, sorry we lied to you, this is the truth, here you go, this is what's happening. So they all get ready for war, and then they make a plan where some of them are gonna basically stay on the island and fight on the Mud Whale, whereas a small little strike force is gonna sail over to the enemy ship and sink it, because at the bottom of each ship there is a spirit, a alien thing, a weird creature which basically powers the ship and powers the mark, and it's basically stopping the ship from sinking. So they kill the one on the other ship and their ship sinks. Then they go back to the government, and the government is upset with them, and the older brother takes the pink-haired guy who supposedly died and is like, right, you're my jester now. And then he flips the script and blames the guy for doing it rather than himself, and saying it's his insufficient planning that caused them to fail. And the Mud Whale ends with them being very happy and trying to find land, basically, with them being able to drive the Mud Whale and basically go wherever they want to go, which they wasn't able to do before. So that's basically a quick run through of the story. Honestly, it is very fucking wild, and there is a lot to take in. There is so much like lore built into these 12 episodes, and there is so many characters. There is the green-haired character who is like the president, and he has been put in this role, and he felt all confident, but the elders keep lying to him and keeping secrets from him, so it's making him like hard to be trusted, and hard to trust them. And then we have the characters with powers, and the powers are really weird because they basically just do whatever the plot wants them to do. Gives them increased speed, increased agility, makes stuff be able to float, like grab weapons and shit and be able to snap them, gives them super strength. Basically does whatever the plot decides they need to be able to do at the time, which is pretty weird, but sure, pop off. And some of my favorite characters were like the dark, like emo guy who's like dark and gloomy, who was an outcast, who then basically with the death of his friend gets the like motivation to, you know, start taking care and pride in everything and basically living for the two of them and trying to find his place. I really liked him. And then also the pink-haired character, who is my favorite. He was a little fucking psycho, but I loved him because he was like very just happy learning about other people and seeing how they fight, how they work, and how different they are, and he just wanted to kill them. He reminded me a lot of Toga and how her way of like showing love and expressing her feelings is different and was sort of like shunned upon. And I think if this series was given more time, like we could have had some good character development and some good character arcs, because other than that there wasn't really many. Like the elders were like sticks the entire way through, wanted to sink their own ship to kill themselves, keeping secrets from the civilians of the Mud Whale for ages, and not really caring that some people died, just wanting to protect themselves. So, you know, they were dicks. But the main character, I didn't really like. He was just like the generic main character, like the weak main guy who's gonna get stronger throughout the series and is there to get the girl in the end and to basically just move the plot forward. And the side characters are the ones which are always the more interesting ones, with the blue-haired girl who was the one that they found on the other island being linked to the brother, which didn't really do anything. It didn't really bring anything into question. It just meant that she knew more about their plans and stuff. That's all the plot relevance that it brought. I feel like we could have had a pretty good, like, argument between them, but they didn't share any screen time. I felt like there could be some emotional, like, stuff there where they could have fought each other. Maybe neither of them had to die, but, like, overcome the feelings that, like, oh, he is my brother, and I'm gonna have to fight him at some point. Feel like we could have had some of that, but we didn't. It just felt like wasted potential, and this hasn't been greenlit for a season 2, so I am going to assume that we're not getting a season 2. But it was a really nice world that they built with this interesting magic system, this interesting way of travel where the world has been overtaken by like sand-like water, and if you fall into it you basically sink and drown in sand, which is an awful fucking fate, not gonna lie. And sometimes the sand can go hard, but it can just like switch back to a liquid state within like seconds, and it just added this extra level of threat when they were going round in the boats, because the sand was always like unpredictable of how it was going to go, and with it being like all sandy and stuff, it just gave like implications of a lot of heat and a lot of warmth. So these characters would have had to struggle with like dehydration and like water and growing crops because of this constant berating heat that was on them and the constant sand that was flowing through the air. And we did have like a very grainy-esque filter on top of the animation, which the animation was very good, by the way. It wasn't like brilliant, it was decent animation, but there was like a grainy filter over it which gave that extra level of depth. Like it was covered in sand and there was sand everywhere, which again, if you're sailing on a sea of sand, there is going to be sand blowing around and sand all over the place, and the grainy filter just added to it and gave it like a little bit more personality compared to other animes, it felt like they were going the extra mile to really like immerse you in the series. And there was this festival of like throwing sand at people, and I fucking hated that because I, like Anakin Skywalker, hate sand. Like that shit gets everywhere. It's like glitter. Like if you go to the beach, you're gonna find that shit in your socks, your ass crack, your fucking pants, and in your hair for the next fucking 8 months. But I still enjoy going to the beach, but I probably wouldn't enjoy living on the mud whale because of the sand, the amount of sand that's there. It is just insane. But I really like this anime, despite it not getting a season 2 and ending on a pretty cliffhanger-esque ending. And I would wish there was like a solid conclusion to this story. I think it is still worth the watch, and it does, like, again, build on this mystery of like, hey, these guys were once criminals, what did they do, why does everyone hate them, and like, what are these creatures at the bottom of the boats? Like, there is so many mysteries and so many questions, which makes this world like addictive and gets you into it and gets you wanting to watch more, that I think it is, again, a really good opening to an anime which I wish did better than what it has done. But again, it's definitely worth a watch. I think it is a solid 7 out of 10. I have seen better anime, I have seen worse anime. I think it is in like solid C tier, if I was going to put it on a tier list. So again, solid 7 out of 10 feels right. Like high C, low B-esque area for a rating. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.